Hello, hello.
Good evening.
We are back for another exciting stream. Make sure my sound sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I like it.
Cool. You're a little underexposed, but that's okay. We're not perfect here.
I'm doing this all for the exposure, Jay.
Yeah, I know. I think we're gonna be back on to part 6 now of our little animation project here.
Oh man,
it's been really fun though. I think this is cool. I like this format where we can kind of work toward something, in product kind of thing.
Totally. I've just been like doing, so many of these have just been like try to finish something within the stream, So it's just kind of, this is like hour 12 or 13 or something like that of this project.
Yeah.
And this is, we have made it to the 30-second mark, I believe, right? So like, it's really interesting. Like, you can make a 30-second piece of music in about 30 seconds.
You play it out.
If you're feeling inspired,
Yeah.
But like, this process takes so much longer. It's interesting. Different workflows for different things.
Well, should we get to it and give a recap of kind of what we've been up to?
Sounds great.
So let's switch over to the screen view here. So hold on, let me fix Cory. This is the thing.
I'm also gonna fix Cory. Here we go. Speaking of too orange.
There we go. Camera's always in a different spot, so.
Oh yeah.
Because I have to when I have our little picture-in-picture kind of thing going on, I'll have to kind of readjust where.
Totally.
Because I have it cropped in, so that should work. Okay. As always, let us know if something sounds off or terrible or is not working, or if I think I'm using my capture card again, my Elgato 4K capture card, and for some reason it has been freezing, and I don't know why, but if it does that, chat me and I will fix it. Okay. Where were we?
Okay, so where we were, let me tell you, Jay, because you got the minutia here to deal with. So where we ended up with was we kind of blocked out like the first and maybe the entire 30 seconds of this scene. So Jay's character's name, I forget. Carmen?
Carmen? Is that what his name?
I think Karen.
Karen? Sauron?
Let's just, can this be the whole stream?
Camaro. Okay.
So Jay's character enters, sits down, they exchange a couple words. My character cracks a joke that doesn't make any sense. Jay's character laughs.
I don't think I have the laugh in here yet, but...
Okay. So it looks like you split my clip a bit too.
Yeah.
So when I sent this thing out, I bounced Jay just like one audio clip of all this dialogue, and he cut it up to make it make a little more sense. So I'm like seeing in your edit, you brought the first bit of dialogue forward by like half a second or something like that.
I think so. I think I moved these together a little closer.
Oh, they're closer.
I don't know why I'm not hearing my audio here from Blender.
I don't either.
Yeah. Oh, no, volume's down.
Well, you can have 200% volume.
I mean, I could probably...
Wait.
I can crank...
What is the scale? Is that like...
I think 1 is how it came, and then you can...
Oh my god.
I mean, you can see it. It shows you visually where it peaks.
Okay, yeah.
So
everywhere?
Everywhere. It turned it into one big red bar. I don't want that. I want to...
It hurts me...
Seeing it like that?
No, it just hurts me in my soul that isn't displayed in some sort of decibels. And that it's just like a multiple.
Yeah, it's probably just a multiple. Like 2 times louder, 3 times louder.
So, okay. For you nerds out there, you can convert. 2 times louder is +6 decibels. half the volume is minus 6 decibels.
1 sec, guys. I'm going to reopen this.
It's a logarithmic scale. Hey. So I've kind of, anyway, so while you're doing that, I can explain what I have happening here. So Jay exported a render, which I've brought into Ableton.
Oh, yeah.
And
show everybody that.
Yeah, so I've got this thing here as a clip on the timeline, and it's looking pretty good.
Does it play back okay?
Yeah, it's playing back groovy. You know, I've griped to you about my major issues with Ableton's video playback, and I think they must have done something to the engine in this new version or something, because every video file I put in here works just fine now, and it like was never like that before. And I'm using the same computer, so it's not, you know.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's changed is the Ableton version. So super smooth playback. You know, it's so you can see some like aliasing or whatever. It's like a low resolution render, because like for this kind of pipeline, like it's actually more difficult for me to work with it if it's higher resolution, because it's a huge file and like it's much bigger drain on my system resources, right? Like let's see, show in the Finder. How big is this video?
Should be pretty small.
Yeah,
I compressed it quite a bit too.
Totally. Okay. Yeah. So it's not only it's a low resolution, but then it's got some compression as well. Cool.
But that's all you really need to sync things
Absolutely.
up.
Yeah. Totally. You know, so this is a very svelte 30 megabytes.
Yeah.
You know, that's smaller than a lot of audio files that you'll deal with. That's pretty amazing. But also, so that's 30 megabytes for 30 seconds. Right. Usually, audio at full resolution is 10 megabytes a minute. So
wow.
So we're at about a megabyte a second here, 60 megabytes a minute at this video quality. So about 6 times as much data as the audio that we would wrap in it. Interesting, ain't it? So, but with this thing, like 30 megs is like nothing, you know. I'm more talking about when you get in, like if we were doing like a longer video and I was gonna get like a 2K render of it or something, you know, like I have to load all that into RAM to play it back.
Right.
And you know, when you start occupying gigabytes of RAM with a single file, you start running into, you know, that's a sign that your session is, unless you have a machine that's configured to handle that kind of thing. You know, I've got 16 gigs of RAM in here, which I can't ever seem to maximize. I've tried. I've like gone in and opened every program that I have, and like I've tried to max it out. I have failed.
Yeah.
Like, but one thing I haven't done is like just like try and like play back like 4K movies at once. You know, that'll probably do it. You know, like this thing has an integrated graphics, so the graphics share RAM. So it just goes quick. Anyways, I'm sick of talking about graphics and RAM. I want to talk about this project.
Okay.
So, anyways, here we go. This thing's looking all right. And so I can see that Jay's done some rearranging to my clip, like just from, I can see his timeline over here. And I know like you're telling me that you brought that thing a bit closer.
Yeah.
Can you like show me? I don't necessarily need to hear it, but can you just play it so I can see like where his like first word?
So we've got, let's see if I can, yeah, let me show you guys this screen. There we go. Turn Cory back. Oh, wrong one. There we go. So I've got it at about, I can set this to seconds, I think.
That'd be handy.
I thought I could.
If you could, it would be handy.
I thought I did this before where I set it to
play. Oh, sorry. I was wondering what those were. Those were like the raw audio files from our voice creations.
Oh.
I just want to get them. So I'm going to, while you're poking around with this, I'm going to clean up my timeline a little bit because I just have a bunch of garbo on here that isn't actually important.
Show seconds. Okay, it is the same. So this is the seconds. So it's like 7 seconds. I guess the weird thing is that you don't get frames. Like this is 7 seconds, 14 frames. So I don't know if you can go frame by frame in the video or what. Like for on your side?
No, I definitely can't.
So it's like you'd have to divide milliseconds by 24 to get the exact. For some reason, I can't make it.
I don't think I need that level of precision.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like we could just like sort of do some like basic mental math. So right, like that. So that peak of that word is right there on that frame, right?
Yeah.
Like that peak of the loudest point of the first syllable there. And so that's 7.
Pretty much
720.
719.
719. Okay, call it 719, right? So 24 divided by 19, or 19 divided by 24, right? So how far is that into a full second? Let me do my math. So I should probably be able to do this better mentally. But so that's pretty solidly 0.79 rounded up to 0.8 seconds. That's 800 milliseconds. I can work with that.
Cool.
So we go in here and we find, it's pretty hard to start at, okay. So we find 7. Oh. Huh.
Maybe does it start there?
Where?
Because I think I cut out between this part and like when this character starts talking.
So
oops.
I think maybe I was just confused, which makes sense. It's a pretty par for the course for me in the last couple days. So this seems odd to me. Here is 7. Is this point right here? Is this what the frame should look like?
Let me switch over to you. Whoops.
Like it's still Foley blocking his face.
At
that frame.
Yeah. Let me. Might be a good way to do it. So it starts right there.
Yeah, that seems right. It was so interesting how different the lighting looks.
Oh yeah, because this is the preview.
Yeah. So I'm gonna add a locator, and just for my own reference, that locator is located in a not super precise but relatively precise way. And then I'm just gonna slide these guys over to the position. Oh yeah. If we were starting this session from scratch and I was like throwing stuff into this video from scratch, I would go up here and set my set tempo to, and maybe I'm still going to do this because it looks like I can, because these clips aren't warped. Yes, I'm a smart guy. Unwarp everything. So if nothing is warped, oh, I have MIDI though. Never mind, this doesn't work. So what I was going to say is, if I were doing this, I would go in and doing like Foley for video, and like dropping in music that I've composed in other sessions into this project. I would go and set my project tempo to 120 or 60.
120 or right.
So that every beat was 1 second.
Right.
You know? And then you can do subdivisions of 2. You know, you can actually you can get it to divide by 12. You can divide a beat into 12. That's what are 30-second note triplets. Mm-hmm. So you could actually go and get the grid to show you 24ths of a second. It's this very specific workaround though that only works if you're setting up your project from the get-go to work that way.
Oh, okay.
And so it's not going to help me here, unfortunately. But I think this works pretty well. So like let me know. I'm gonna play it with audio, I think. And like just fold stuff away so we don't hear anything you're not supposed to. So I think we just want to hear, I don't know what that is, or that, or that, or that. Is there anything? Sorry, I think I need to clean up this session. There's like 3, the first 3 tracks are empty audio tracks that, like it looks like I did something to them and then deleted whatever was on them. I don't know. I'm not really sure why they exist, but so if I can't figure it out, that probably means they don't need to be around anymore. This one is like a container track for some ambience, which I then put over here. So I don't need to use that as the container. You can ditch that. This thing is just called Foley, and this is a container for some other stuff that happened on other tracks. I'll put that over there too. Boop. Okay, so now we have, great. This is like so much tidier looking. Then we have like a couple of these demo kind of ideas of like vocal sounds that we never used. Chuck these away over here. I don't know, in case we need another character. Okay.
Cool.
I feel like this session is now tidy enough for me to listen to. So I'm not really sure what we're gonna hear because whatever. But this is where it's at so far. So it looks like in this thing I have some ambience. I have our radio music that I created.
Okay.
And it looks like I did a shop doorbell already.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Right at the beginning.
Yep. So we'll see, let's just see what happens.
Okay. Oh.
A little heavy.
Lined up though.
Surprisingly well.
I've been waiting for you for hours.
Why no spell more
Orange, what I say banana.
ha 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 ha.
I think that's.
The end.
I mean, it's something.
Okay. Yeah, it's good though. I think. I think this is a masterpiece.
Sweet.
Dialogue. I'm not gonna win an Oscar, but. Okay, so what was good about this? That door slam, not the right sound for this door, but the timing of it.
Oh yeah. Lined up pretty solid.
Right?
I've been waiting for you for hours.
Why
I feel like that dialogue could shift a little bit later. Just a hair. Like,
I've been waiting for you for hours.
why no
you know, so like,
Yeah.
it really comes right on his face. So now I'm editing to your clip, right? So since Jay's timeline is kind of a little more set and it's worked around my dialogue that I've given him, like I can sort of feed him the reverse, you know, like. So then like what he'll get back is either a single audio file or multiple files. Like I could give you the dialogue separately if you want to address it again more. But probably I'd rather just finalize it myself.
I think so.
So probably what probably the real workflow, again, like it's gonna take some streams to show this, is like we'll bounce this out and then you'll lip sync it.
Yeah.
Rather than me trying to chase down, you know, like you can go around in circles, like I make some adjustments and he adjusts to that, and then I adjust to his adjustments, and then we go back and forth. So we're trying to reduce the number of times we pass this stuff back and forth.
Right.
And like just get done what needs to get done. That's the mentality here. So I'm hearing a few things that like I definitely want to hear. I don't know how. If you switch to the wide angle camera, you can see that I've gotten some cutlery out. If we need to like make the sound of some like diner ambiance, like there's definitely no other people in this diner, but like there's maybe cooks in the kitchen or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And like I don't see these guys like messing with their silverware or their plates or bowls or whatever.
Right.
But you know, like in the background of a diner, you hear like these kind of little sounds, you know. So I might do a little Foley of that, just to like as like an ambience kind of thing. But as I'm watching this now, I'm just thinking about like what's missing, right? So like there were things that I liked about it. I like the dialogue. I like the comedic effect. You know, obviously the ha 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 like not working, right? Like let's fix that. Real quick.
ha ha
Say banana.
ha no
You.
A little bit of a delayed
hours.
reaction there.
why
Yeah. So I'm gonna like tighten these up a little bit, just so they make more sense to me, because I feel like it'll just feel easier if these are just tighter.
why no
Hours.
no
Where did
why
my...
no
Worse.
Did I bring that today?
why
I came up with
Worse.
a 10 times
Why,
better
no,
glass
uh,
texture.
spell.
I've been working on it
why
for a while.
Orange.
Can't tell you how many videos I
Orange.
watched on.
What I say banana.
ha ha, 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 ha.
Because like while we were working on this before, I hadn't really done glass shaders in Eevee, so I wanted to do some research on how to actually make it look decent. And I spent hours trying to figure out a really nice glass shader that actually would like reflect the inside of the diner and stuff. And I finally figured out something that worked. I'm gonna import here, append.
I'm adding some new dialogue, Jay.
Sweet.
I figured I'll make you, if I make, you know, like your character's dialogue is all MIDI, so I can just make it longer.
Why no spell more
Orange.
That's so bizarre.
Why no spell more why no spell more
materials.
I'm gonna see if I can improve this too.
And then
why no
so
spell.
This looks like a crazy shader, but it's pretty simple. This is just extra stuff. I don't have these. I think I was using this in a factor. This kind of just makes it look messy. There we go. So with this glass shader, we should.
Orange.
Maybe
Orange.
Orange? Turn this down. There we go. So with this glass shader, we should be able to see reflections in. It's a really weird thing with Eevee. It works great in cycles, Blender's other like photorealistic renderer, but for some reason Eevee has some weird stuff that it does. But here we should be able to see like actual reflections.
What happened to this? I'm sorry, Jay's like doing something actual serious over here, and I'm over here going,
ha ha. So this should just kind of make it look like it's a dirty window.
The last one really makes it for me. This is something.
I don't think we ever catch the windows really that much, but this should look pretty good. I wanted to kind of make them darker so they didn't. So the factor should be between the two. So I think if I go further this way, oh yeah, that's right. I got to turn off some of this stuff. Alpha. And then I think we have to turn off. My computer's not happy right now.
Why?
It's like lagging the whole stream. It's probably the shader. Sorry guys, if this is coming through choppy, I'll have to let me change just one setting real quick.
I'm really working it on this thing, trying to.
There we go. See, like now you can actually see the reflections of the characters in the windows.
Yeah.
It is lagging the stream. I will fix this momentarily after I crank these settings.
Man, I want to see the chat, Jay. I'm gonna like.
Yeah, nobody's talking to us as usual. We're not that.
No one's yelling at you about this right now?
No.
Oh, great.
Thankfully. This is weird. So it sort of works. I'm not sure what what it's trying to do.
Right, and like, it'll probably look better when it's actually rendered out, right?
Oh yeah. So I had this working pretty good the other day. So this is a different scene. So, but I can make this kind of like a bluish color, maybe. See if this works for us. It's not coming through as a color. Oh, I gotta change this. There we go.
I just want to see if this worked real quick. I took that sample of the slamming door. I like cut off the beginning of it and like faded it in. So there's like not as much of an impact. And then I cut a bunch of the lows out of it so it doesn't like feel as heavy. It's really interesting how, like, when you start thinking about these things, like when you think about the sounds objects make when they move around, so much was about density and weight, and like really you can just inform your EQ decisions. Just thinking about big things make low noises, It's kind of just the thing about physics. So let's see if this works any better. Way better.
Yeah, the computer's not liking this shader at all. But you definitely get a cooler like reflection in the windows.
Is it like freaking out because then there's like bouncing stuff off the windows? It's like trying to render stuff that reflects off the windows and onto the table.
Yeah,
is that why like that whole volumetric stuff? Like all that stuff? Yeah.
Okay. It's a little intensive.
Yeah.
But
cool.
It's okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll turn this off and we'll just have that for the final because it should be fine here. Yeah, that's better.
That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. So I'm going to stick a couple other sounds that I thought would be useful in here just while I'm here. So notice that Jay's character just glides smoothly across the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Also, just real quick before I say anything about this.
Yeah.
Our background music originally just came in hard at the beginning. But I set up a little fade so that it kind of doesn't really come in until after the door's shut. You know what I mean? And I think like that gives it this thing where like it sounds like you're entering the sound world of the diner rather than just starting cold in it,
Right.
It's kind of like an audio version of like a fade from black, essentially. But anyway, so Jay's character just kind of glides across the room, making eye contact with my character the entire time, or attempting to, like staring him down. And so, like we talked about how this is like the idea of this that we're blocking off like some motion, like some walking motion. But we just keep cracking up because it looks like he's wearing Heelys. So
is that what you're gonna do? It'd make it a little easier to animate, but I mean, I can do a walk cycle.
Well, I just thought it would be funny to see if we can make it work.
Okay. I'll do the sitting down animation, then I'll start blocking that out a little more. So what I'm going to do here is just pose him a little bit more so that he's actually kind of going to sit down. Normally I would probably try to get a reference for this, but for time's sake, I might just try to hand pose it. Might be a little bit difficult to do, but we're going to make it work.
Totally. Okay, so here's a little sound design moment. So I'm like looking through this, like this is actual recording of someone with Heelys that I found on Freesound.
It's an interesting noise.
It's super weird. Like it doesn't really work great, but like I think it suits this production pretty well. So I just noticed that it has this like funny moment where there's kind of like a thump. And I could like use that as like a stand-in for like when he like hits the table or whatever.
Let's see.
It sounds like a helicopter coming in or something. Okay, so I think it's always worth auditioning a second version of that sound. I tried, I also found this one, which, sorry, that's the analysis version. I kind of thought like miss one. That's just not continuous enough. There was one more. Oh, I didn't download it, I guess. I don't think this one's just. I just straight up don't think it's gonna work.
Oh, whoops. Got to make sure I key this in.
Nope. No bueno. We skip it.
Okay, I've got some keyframes here, so I guess I'll go. I kind of want him to be. If he's gonna use, so this is the point of having references. I got a picture like, okay, we're walking up to the booth. He puts his hand on, uses that to kind of push himself in to. I want him to be a little bit more in the shot here, so he doesn't come around. So he's gonna like.
It may not make sense for him to be on wheelies or heelys or whatever. So if you end up doing this differently, I won't be offended. I'm happy to do footsteps. I got out a footstep board.
Yeah.
I made a little makeshift Foley pit.
I think that would be cool to do.
Yeah.
To get the footsteps in there.
Give you something to do. Okay.
Let's see.
Give me something to do. So like, so I am. I'm thinking about like this idea of this kind of ambience track of some of these just what do you hear in a diner, right? So like I might just like roll some like a stereo recording of me and just like manipulating these things, and then we'll just have something to work with. So, have my little Zoom recorder with me, which is a handy tool for this job. I figure I was thinking about, like, I set up this other mic to record directly into the interface, but like since this isn't getting synced to picture and is supposed to be like ambience, it probably makes more sense for it to be stereo and mono. Because mono is going to locate it somewhere more centrally in the sound field, and then it's also going to just, we'll have to like place it somewhere. It won't have that same like three-dimensional effect. So I'm just going to hit record on this thing, and I think it's probably okay. You don't have to be silent during this, Jay, because like I think some person talking in the background would probably be heightened realism. Yeah. So like this is diner ambiance. So.
Whoa. Okay.
Anyways, I'm rolling.
Okay.
Okay, our scene isn't that long. That was 30 seconds of that. Okay, so I got that sound. I was thinking about like trying to get some sounds of this dude like sitting down in the booth too. And so can we cut to the wide camera, please, Jay?
Yeah.
So I made myself a little booth right here, which is a only slightly barfy couch cushion. Yeah. I would have just gone and sat down on the couch over there, but it's all the way over there, and so I brought the couch to us. So again, I'm thinking about in this particular case, like maybe I'd be more stoked about grabbing a mono sound, right? Because like he's gonna be like he's centered on the screen, but like I don't know, I'm kind of using this thing right now. I don't think it really matters. So I think I'm just gonna point this at me and see how it goes. If I'm recording a stereo, it is kind of redundant if I'm going to use it as mono to record a stereo file, but as long as this thing's like pointed directly at whatever I'm recording, it's going to come out like a wide but centered image anyway, so that's okay. So I'm just gonna like maybe record some like sitting and shifting around on this thing.
It's funny because we can't hear it right now. So all I'm doing here for this animation part, to make him look like he's walking, since we don't see his legs, I'm just going to kind of make that up and down motion. You can see here that it's already working pretty good.
Cool. Oh yeah, let me get footsteps then while you're doing this. So I got out this piece of, whatever this is, MDF, from the back, because I was like stepping around on this carpet and like, that doesn't sound like what that room sounds like.
Oops. Oh. It's kind of terrible, but it gets the idea across. Probably actually could make this a little bit slower. I can just scale this out.
So anyways, I'm trying to get a feel for his pace.
So I would just do like a normal walking pace is what I'm thinking. Well, he's kind of walking fast, I guess. 1, 2. So he's... I should probably have him like slow down a little bit.
So like something like this maybe?
Let's see. Hard to
Yeah,
tell.
that feels kind of right. Like, okay, I think I got it. This one we are gonna want some silence real quick.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna do this real quick. It's like, that's probably all right. Yeah, cool. See, anything else we need? Oh yeah, newspaper. The newspaper. I didn't have access to an actual newspaper, but I found this thing. So again, with Foley, it's all about like finding something that sounds like the thing, not necessarily the actual thing. So I don't have like a big leafy newspaper, but I did find this like thing which is printed on newsprint. The plasticky cover doesn't sound right, but the interior does. So I was thinking, sorry to y'all for putting this together, but this is very helpful for me. So I might take like, I think for realism, I'm gonna take 2 pages of this. And that is gonna like, so you can really hear that like the individual pages when they're free to vibrate have a different sound than when they're like all stuck together. So this is gonna sound cool. So like I might just do some like newspaper holding and then like folding down. I think when I'm doing this one, I'm gonna watch my version of this. So you may hear something, but I just wanna like kind of like sort of act along with him here. So, oh wait, I'm hitting record. I don't need to record on there. I want to record on this.
I've been waiting for you hours.
Hours.
Orange. I did say banana.
I think I'm going to cut some of these out. Oops.
Someone's trying to get my attention over here,
Oh?
apparently. That sucks. I'm sorry that happened. Oh yeah. You just want my keys? I think so. Yeah. Yeah, they're labeled with the whatever. You just come back in and bring them back in. Yeah.
So I added an extra few. I think it was a little too fast, so I slowed it down a little bit. So he's taking pretty decent strides here. I think it's hard to get the timing without a reference. It's really difficult. If you see actual, actually saw a really great example on Instagram today of this guy who was doing a full on animation, and he like acted out the whole thing and had like he had it all side by side with the reference, the blocking out, and the rough cut, and then the final like production or the final piece. It was pretty cool to see. I mean, he like acted out the whole thing. He had a character like with a guitar, and then there was he was like carrying a basket of laundry and stuff. So he like actually went and did these things and got the reference for what it looked like. And then in the animation, of course, he like exaggerated some of the acting, so from the reference.
That's cool.
So it's definitely helpful to have. Of course, some stuff you can't really get references for.
Right.
Some are easier than others.
Creatures and all that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make another effort to do this recording real quick because that one didn't go so hot. So here we go. Boop. Going for mega realism here.
Yeah. Oops.
I don't know if that's gonna work, but we'll find out. Yeah, I feel like those are like, in terms of elements of what I wanted in this thing, though, I'm feeling pretty okay about that. These are like the bits and bobs of the thing. So I'm gonna pop out my thumb drive and flip this thing into card reader mode. Pull this data off. It looks like looks like I haven't dumped these recordings in a while, so there might be some hidden gems on there too. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Probably not, but who knows?
Try to add some hand swinging in here, some arm swinging. That might be a little much.
Oh, yank my computer around by the USB port. That's a sure way to need to buy a new one. Gosh, I guess I'm buying all kinds of new things coming up here. Let's see.
So I'm picturing this foot forward, and then so on the pass, so that foot forward. Then on the down is when they have like fully have the feet out. So here he'd be facing kind of more this way because the other foot would be forward. So it's step, step, step.
Step, 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 step,
So
step,
there's
step.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. So you can kind of see it a little bit better. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So on the up, it's the passing pose is the higher pose. So on the lower, the down pose is the contact pose. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one I want a little bit back here, I think. I wanted him to be in shot the whole time, but I can speed the camera up to move a little bit.
So okay, y'all heard me doing these things. Check out. Here's my paper sound. Listen to this. This is enlightening to me.
Do you want me to switch over to your screen?
No, you can just hear it.
Okay.
Going for mega realism here. So first off, I kind of like the quality of the reverb in this room. Like, doesn't that sound kind of nice on my voice? Like, it's strangely I like it. Going for mega realism here. Listen to that boom, the rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So that's, close miking, something where it's like moving a lot of air moving, that's rumble,
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, like, I don't know, it's not beautiful, but it'll work. What's this one? Record. Oh, that was the previous attempt that failed. I
wanted to be a little bit more this way.
There's footsteps featuring Nanette. And then what's this?
I guess this is not. Oh, he's pushing the door open.
So that's sitting down noises, and then this must be.
This is diner.
Oh, what is this?
This is diner ambiance.
Ambiance.
I think that key feature of good sound design is verbally describing the sound you're about to hear before you hear it.
That's helpful.
It's certainly easy to catalog this sound. I have a giant folder of field recordings that just like with unlabeled files. Don't be like me. Label your field recordings. There's no point. So like if you want to be a person who goes out and records a bunch of stuff, cool, great. There's no point in recording it if you're not going to go and listen back to it, right? It's like being a person. It's just like going out and taking a ton of photos and never looking at them, right? You can do that if you want. A lot of us. I mean, I'm sure we're all guilty of doing that to some degree or another with our phones and whatnot. But like, if you're going to go out and be intentional about recording sounds, but you're not going to be intentional about writing down in the file name what they are, you will never find that sound. Like there's no. I mean, maybe, I don't know. If you're using some system that allows you to tag your audio samples, like with some metadata, you have to do that yourself, I do, so one thing I really like is using the Voice Memos app on my iPhone as a field recorder because it automatically appends, or it gives it, it uses your location data to like give the location as the name of the file. So at least you can tell where and when it was recorded, if not what. And that'll give you a better clue. But like these files, like my H1N, every time you take the batteries out, it forgets what day it is. And so like it just assumes, if given no other information, that it's January 1st, 2017 at midnight.
So that's not very helpful.
Well, so I have a bunch of these files that I'm copying over, and they all seem to have been recorded in 2017 in January. So yeah, there's no... And the Zoom just spits out, the files are called zoom 0001.wave, zoom 0002.wave. There's no useful information here. So you got to go and tag your thing. So I've sort of chipped away at my field recordings, like you can, I don't know if you can see my screen right now, but like this is like.
Oh yeah, I guess sure.
This is like a big scroll of like named and labeled field recordings. And I try to give them as much of a detail as possible, although it's not always that useful. I got a bunch of footsteps in here already, for example. Bowed cymbals. It's kind of a fun sound. Gotta come back to these because they're really fun. Yeah, anyways, but I got all these other folders of like, here's a bunch of them from like, I at least have, this is, from February 2019. There's so many weird sounds in here. But like that's a church bell, like cool. Or like some sort of bell tower. It's not tagged bell tower, so I'll never find that sound to use as a bell sound. Like so. I gotta go through and do that to all these many recordings. But instead of doing that, I'm gonna do what everyone and myself always does, is just drop them in unlabeled and then collect all and save them in my project. So at least I know where they're here, so I can use them for this and they'll be functional. So let's begin.
Okay.
Oh my god. It's almost like a creature noise.
Right here, I can.
Do you remember the pigs from Warcraft 2?
I didn't really play Warcraft much. I do know what you're talking about, but I wouldn't recognize the. I probably won't recognize the sound.
It's kind of like that, but a pig sound. Anyways, so what was this supposed to be? Is this? Oh yeah, newspaper. Like this isn't a pig noise. Oh my gosh, I want to actually like find you this sound.
His neck is like. Give him some like a little extra. Any little movement. He swings that arm back. Gotta add something here to this arm. Like he's going to put his arm on the thing. So I know he's anticipating. So he's gonna pick his arm up like he's got it back.
To work. Oh,
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna.
Oops. I'm gonna delete that one. So he's putting his. Maybe puts his arm out a little too early. Let me grab this and slide it over here. So maybe he doesn't. I guess when you're walking towards something and you know you're gonna put your hand on it, you probably. He's walking, puts his hand out. I guess that makes sense. Pushes the door open, takes some steps. Although something is weird here. There we go.
There it is.
Is that the Warcraft pig?
Yep. Classic. Okay. So what was my point with this sound? I wanted to like just have something in there, like when he.
Something weird going on with his arm here. I get it where he's.
So this doesn't sound like newspaper to me. Does this sound like newspaper to you? Sounds like paper, but it has qualities about it that seemed unnewspaperly to me. Too much bass, right? Like newspaper doesn't have sub bass.
Right. It's pretty thin.
And it's thin sounding, right?
Yeah.
So like too much low and too much high, I'm thinking. So we cut the lows aggressively. But not too aggressively. And then we shelve out the highs because we don't actually want to hear it. Like, now it's like kind of like close mic too.
Don't want him to put his arm out till like maybe there. So the point here where I want him to turn a little bit. So if he's putting that leg and switching legs.
For you for hours.
Why no?
One, two, three, four. That's where I'm a little off here. It's just that fourth leg. Yeah. And this is still blocking out, so it's just getting a. You just keep blocking out, and then you fill in all the in-betweens, and then you got a finished animation.
For you for
Still a little bit. You at least get the timing down. Something is off, though.
I'm not crazy about that sample, but it's gonna do.
Pushes the door, step.
I've been
Step.
waiting for you.
Step. Step. Oops. Maybe you don't want him to turn his body that far, maybe.
For you for hours.
Why no? Spare.
Orange, equad, I see, say, banana.
Okay. He's gonna slide into the booth here.
Slide into the booth.
Yep. So I think that's still like one point there that I don't like. I think it's between these two.
I've been waiting for you.
1, 2. I'm trying not to do. I don't want to really get into doing the graph editor, but a lot of times this stuff will require it. It's just a whole nother extra layer to.
For you for hours.
Let's see. It's we try. The animation like this could take. I mean, it takes a long time. This is pretty rough.
We're being. I mean, I hope it's clear that we're being kind of intentionally kind of sloppy with it in many places, like just because it's funny.
I mean, to be entertaining too. Like this is something you sit and stare at the computer screen for hours to get right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I could have made probably a better character if I had spent more time, but I don't want to make you watch me do that. And I honestly don't want to watch me do that.
So I think the key part here I want to get is just him sitting down, more or less. So I know that at this point he's like on the thing. He's going to kind of throw himself onto the seat. So might try to get him to swing his arm out really quick and then turn his body this way. And at least get that sitting down action. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that last step's still a little weird, but I'll come back to it. To sit in the booth, so we need that. At one point, he drops his weight onto the booth, so we want to see that. You can see it's gonna be hard to tell from his feet, but like the minute he lets go of the, so he'll put his hand on inside the booth for a second here. Let me grab this, please. So this is where I would switch to IK if I was really trying to be like perfect with it. That way I could lock his hand in place and move the camera around, but I'm not gonna. I think maybe I'll have him. I don't know. I'm trying to visualize it. So when you go to the restaurant, what do you usually? So you're coming in, you go to sit. I mean, maybe that's something. Just grabbing the chair is something you do with a chair, but with a booth, I don't know. Do you usually put your hands on the table and then like slide into the booth?
I'm trying to imagine if this chair were a booth and I was getting into it. Like, I think I'd probably like. I probably wouldn't touch the table as much. I think my inclination is to go for the back.
For the back.
I think you're on it, especially if no one's sitting behind it. You know.
Right.
Which I think would change things.
So, could you do that one more time for me, actually?
Oh yeah.
Where you like sat down with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you put your arm out and then like slit. Yeah. Okay. So you kept your arm there.
I mean, it's kind of weird because this chair moves. So like, I don't know. Maybe this one will give you a more accurate image. Well, that was an interesting throw. So like if I'm coming over here to this seat, like, yeah, I think it's like, yeah, like
slide your hand along the back
totally.
Use it as leverage.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to slide into a deep booth like that, where you're gonna like, you know, you probably don't want to animate him like scooting himself down the booth like that, you know, like
so
like
maybe
scoochy or whatever. So I think that sort of thing, the sliding, makes him look like a cool guy.
Yeah, maybe I need to have him angle himself a little bit more away from the booth.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his walk when he. Here's his walk from. Maybe that's what I can kind of see. What looks weird. So I know that he's coming forward with this foot here. I could probably maybe add a little bit. See, there is some benefits to like going through and actually animating the whole thing because you like get the, you know, it's a little easier to tell the weight of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that he's going to put this leg out, so he's going to have his weight over. Actually, his weight would be on. Wait. So if that foot's forward.
God, it's so complicated.
Yeah, the weight would be because I mean you have to think about how people walk, and it's like where's the weight at? How do you? So it's gonna be he's gonna be putting his weight because he's putting that leg out. His weight would be on that side because when you go to put your foot out, you most of the time you put the weight on that foot, so you're shifting your balance over to that foot. So and then the next step, which would be here, his weight would be further this way. So he should move. Then that's what's probably looking weird is that the weight isn't shifting properly. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be a fourth one in here. There's a fourth step. I want to get a little bit of an idea of the step here, just to see where his legs are gonna go. Let's see how that looks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's better.
That's looking pretty cool. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. So it's still a little weird right at the end because I think his body turns the other way. 2, 3.
So if you were doing a longer film, like you'd probably recycle that cycle for like whenever this dude walked anywhere, kind of thing.
Yeah, you could
at that same pace.
Yeah, you could for sure. You could reuse, have a walk cycle that you just play here.
Yeah, because I'm just noticing like how his gait becomes like very stylized immediately, right? Like
right,
and it's so interesting, right? There's no like neutral gait. Right, like it's every way somebody walks says something about them.
Oh yeah, I mean I can make this way more expressive. If he was like mad, I'd probably make it look more like he was stomping when he walked.
But just the way he's walking, obviously when he's sliding from that angle, but like from the camera's perspective, like when he's walking, like it conveys like some kind of emotion. It's really interesting. I've like never really noticed how that's.
He kind of is hunched over a little bit, like he kind of seems angry right now. I think just his face is kind of.
I mean, he's got like a little bit of like resting angry face kind of thing going on,
yeah.
but like with his furrowed brow. But there's also like he's walking like an angry person too. Like he's not skipping. He's not like walking super lightly. He's kind of hunched, but he's like looks like he's making a beeline for this dude at the table. You know what I mean? Like he's about to go in there and pick a fight or something like that.
2, 3. I think I could probably. I mean, I could spend all day just on this first shot, and most time, like this would be something that typically, and I believe, like in major studios, usually animators are assigned almost like one shot or one action, and that they work on that for like weeks till it's perfect. Mm-hmm. So of course we don't have necessarily weeks to do every single shot in this, but you get the idea. I think we're gonna move on to the next thing, and then we'll go back to a polishing. I mean, once he sits down, I think this is the part that's gonna take the longest. The rest is just gonna be them moving their hands and doing the lip sync stuff.
Right.
Like this is probably this is the most movement that we have.
Totally.
So, I don't want him to turn that far. I don't think.
I'm gonna get rid of these wheelie sounds, I guess. Those are no longer a part of this. Where did my footsteps go? Did I delete my footsteps?
Maybe that will help a little bit. He won't like turn. There we go. I don't want him to put his arm back so fast. There you go.
So these shoes don't sound right. I feel like the sound doesn't sound like. So I'm just gonna. So let's. So I'm just gonna.
Something else is moving this. I think it might be these. I'm just gonna reset this.
You say it's 4 steps before he like.
Yeah, so he's got
1, 2, 3, 4.
And then he kind of turns and sits. So maybe like a squeak of his shoes, where he like kind of rotating on the ball of his feet to like turn into the seat kind of thing?
Sure. I'm gonna try and like just re-record that.
Okay.
Because I feel like what I got doesn't do that.
3, 4.
So yeah, so like this becomes a rhythm exercise, right?
3.
Like I'm thinking. Oh, I threw my pillow away. Hold on a sec. Be right back. But it's a rhythm exercise. So like
4.
or you know, timing.
Yeah.
Which I guess, you know, I'll just call it timing rhythm because I'm a music guy. But you know, I'm trying to match his vibe here. Right? So like I don't necessarily feel like I need to close mic my feet here, but we'll find out. Like I might need to. If this doesn't give us the desired sound, I might try a couple different versions. So like something like this, right? Like
2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4, and then arm on the booth.
all right, I'm gonna try a pass here.
Okay.
I think something in there has got to work. So again, stop that. Just pop it over. This really, like having this thing with like the built-in interface or like the card reading interface, like makes this so convenient.
What's that?
Like just
like on the computer.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you had to power it down. You can just plug it straight in and switch it over. That's awesome. Yeah. So like file management on this thing becomes like a non-issue because I'm just in here. Like boom, here are the files. I can go and delete all the ones that have been on here for ever.
So you can see I'm just working with the auto key on. So essentially the auto key just adds keys to the timeline whenever I change something. You have to be really careful with it because sometimes you move things that you don't want to actually be animated and it ends up animating them anyways. Like if I move the camera around at any point while this is going, I'll add keyframes that I don't want. There is a way to change this to where it only replaces keyframes and doesn't add any, which can be useful. Or you could do active keying set only, and that's in here. This is quite a, there's like a lot you can do with this. I honestly don't. Hey, look, I froze. Why did nobody tell me I froze?
I can't see you.
We have 2 people watching. I think one is a bot.
Thank you, bot.
It's the Restream bot. He's always here for us.
Oh, Restream bot, we appreciate you. You're our most faithful viewer.
Yep. I don't know what it really does, but let's see if I come back here.
Restream bot, why are you watching us?
Hey, there's a full screen of me.
Wait, who's the other viewer then if we have a Restream bot?
I'm not sure. We had somebody comment earlier, I'm not sure if they're still watching, about our animation being very good.
It's very kind of you to say.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I don't know where my camera is. Oh, there I am. Cool. Okay. I don't know what the deal is with my cam link thing. I don't know why. I only just recently started having problems with it, but I don't know.
Windows update?
It could have been. Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, okay. Where were we? I was talking about. I
think something.
Let's see. Oh yeah, moving things around with the auto keyer. So just watch out if you use it. It's a great tool, but it's also can cause a lot of headaches. That slide. I like how he goes fast and slows down. So I really got to get that landing on the seat. So think that's what I'm going to focus on next. I want to make sure that that is clear that he's... So if he pushes his hand out, I know I'm animating. I can see kind of where things are.
I like these footsteps, but I feel like there's like a lot of noise in the recording, so I'm going to try and gate it out. I don't know how that happened. So we get out the gate. This is what the gate is for.
Go back up a little bit. Oops, not hide it, grab it. There we go. I'm gonna kind of turn his shoulders. I haven't animated the shoulders very much, so. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need some more shoulder movement. So he pushes the door, and then maybe rotates his shoulders out this way.
I've been waiting for you for hours.
So I guess we do usually lead with our shoulders, so it depends, obviously, but if we're, so he's stepping this way, so he's kind of got his shoulders forward, and then go with the other shoulder, rotate that. I want it to be a little less extreme. 1, 2. He did push open the door with that other hand. So, like, imagine if he's putting his arm on the door, he's gonna like kind of push back that shoulder a little bit while he's pushing on it.
Totally.
So,
hey, check this out. So I got a little bit of sounds going on here.
Nice.
I feel like those footsteps are like weird. Can you show me your sequence again?
Yeah.
Yeah, there just needs to be a fifth step. That's why it was so weird.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that turn into the seat.
Yeah.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Because there's one more where he touches.
Yeah.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. So there's this kind of like messy sliding sound now. Here, I'll mute the background noise so you can hear it. But I think it's actually kind of like working. Like this is like the cheapest recording equipment that we have too. So it's like if you're doing this for like a motion picture, you're gonna do this with in a pristine sound environment with with gear that you selected specifically with low self noise. This is like, if I were selecting gear with high self noise, this is the first thing I would reach for. It's fine for music stuff. It's great. And it's fine for a lot of things. Like I think some of these things sound good. But like when you start wanting to like turn things up or manipulate them or layer a bunch of things recorded with this, that like hissy self noise stacks. And so you end up with a lot of it. So this is, like if I was recording with this mono mic over here, we'd probably get a cleaner result, but it wouldn't be as wide and full of character either. So, like there isn't it's not really a right or a wrong choice. Like they just do different things. And so like, obviously it'd be nicer to have just like higher quality versions of these things. Like there's a better version of this. You can buy yourself one of those Sony D100s or whatever they are. They're like $1,000 field recorder, but they just like are silent, and you can do anything with them. But you get what you pay for, and the $100 unit just doesn't do that. But it's cool. It's going to give this kind of a lo-fi charm. And I can certainly spend some time sprucing the sounds up a bit. Like we're not going to do that here though. I mean, I'll spend a little bit. I'm doing basic things like gating out some noise, EQing like away like excess rumble and stuff like that. So I'm sweetening, but I'm not doing anything radical.
What's happening?
I've been waiting for you for hours.
Why no spare more wire po
Orange, what? I say banana.
ha 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 ha.
I really feel like that last laugh makes it. So when I give it to you back, Jay, I'm gonna leave a tag of the song on the end.
Okay.
If you want to like pop in some end credits or something. We didn't really talk about that. Like I guess that's all gonna come after this scene gets rendered. But like how it starts and how it ends, right? Are we gonna open with a title?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we'll have just like a basic title, or I can make something in 3D and like have some of the plates behind it or something, and you know.
I guess that'd be kind of cute. I don't know, but you don't gotta make too much effort, you know. But yeah, just something as you know, like thinking here from a composer's perspective, like it feels pretty weird for me to have this start and an end hard, like the music to just like cut when the scene cuts.
Oops.
And so just like letting the audio play out a little longer over like just like one frame of end credit, you know. I mean, obviously not like one film frame, but just like one still piece of end credit, letting the music play for a few seconds over that would just kind of like let people down easy off the end of this thing instead of just like abandoning it. Yeah, because it'll just like disappear and feel kind of strange. You know, we could like design that effect. We've kind of got a little bit of like bedroom eyes kind of going on now. Like it was kind of like a little sultry slide into the seat.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah, it's getting a little saucy.
He slides pretty far over, I think.
I like it. I like it.
I don't know if I want to animate him sliding that far, because I kind of want him to sit like right about there. Then he stays in the frame, at least.
Mm-hmm.
That might mess up some of our other shots, but I might just keep him right here, and then so what I'm going to do is just insert everything right there and delete this one. That way he comes to that point. Still a little, I mean, I have to have him like, so I don't like that a little bit of a weirdness going on. I think it's in it must be these, yeah.
Yeah, the little jump or something like that in there.
Yeah. So I want to smooth this out and just delete that keyframe.
Yeah, there it is.
So I might have him do like sit down, and then maybe do like, because I want him to be sitting a little sooner. Maybe I'll speed this up. I mean, that's still fine. So I look again from, so the sit is gonna be like right there. Maybe I'll have him, he's just rotated too far. I feel like he needs to like turn his whole body this way. There we go. This arm, there's no animation there. Oh, it must be shoulders, no? So I can animate the shoulders here. Just so it kind of looks like he's actually, there we go. Okay, still a little bit, something going on between these two frames. I don't know if there's any other, kind of haven't done much with his head, so.
Mm-hmm. In the old lane.
I want him to be looking at him the whole time. So he like walks in, he sees him. Maybe he does like a little glance this way or something. Just to add a bit of variety. He walks in, looks around. Because he's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of like... That makes sense to me.
Because usually, like, if he's leading... yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the slide. There's not really... There's kind of a fifth step, but that fifth step is like him stopping. 1, 2... 1, 2... 1, 2, 3, 4. It should go up and then down again. So whoops. Maybe that's what is a little weird. 2. So there's a step here. That's that last step. And then he drops himself from that step. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And slide.
And then I feel like I'm still missing something, but it's okay.
My character's missing a lot of things, so.
Like this kind of delay a little bit. Well, I don't know what's so glitchy here. Maybe it's the arm. See, I want to keep him, have him keep his arm on the bench. I think he lifts it up a little bit here, but that's okay.
Like, it's something you might do. You're not necessarily going to run your hand along the whole thing. I don't know. I really see what you mean about like using like a physical human reference.
It helps so much. Oh man, I'm frozen again. Oh, this stupid cam link thing. I think it's a computer. I don't think it's the...
Oh yeah.
Seems to work if I unplug it, plug it back in, and then deactivate and reactivate the camera.
Oh man.
Yeah, see there, I'm back again. I don't know. Okay. Step, 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 step down. Something is going weird here. There's somewhere in here there's some frames you can see. So we can actually like bring this down and see if we select everything. You can see, I'm gonna delete that. Something in there was making it like, oh, weird.
Man, what a thing. It's like so finicky. You know, like I trip out about like how much like audio stuff, like when you get to a certain level of complexity in your project, like there's all these like dependencies, you know, like things are all interacting with each other. And so like chasing down a problem often creates a new one.
Yeah, that's definitely...
Yeah, I feel like you're in the weeds right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can see if I bring this up, this is every single keyframe for every single bone.
Right.
So, and underneath these, so this is just the bones that this basic rig has. And underneath every one of these bones, you have the location, the rotation, and the scale. So every single one of those bones is keyed on every single one of those like transforms.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot. And this is a relatively basic rig too.
Totally.
Imagine once you get a rig with all 5 fingers with 3 bones each, plus or toes, or a full face rig where you have the jaw and eyes and everything.
Right.
It's it gets to be a lot, and like this isn't normally even there's a whole different editor, this graph editor, that a lot of people will use. That's even, you want to see something really confusing.
Yes, I love it.
This shows the actual like motion between, I think I actually still, it looks like this is all still in linear. So if we turn this all to Bezier, we might actually get a cleaner looking animation. Yeah,
he was a little jerky in spots, huh?
Forgot about that. I mean, it usually works still, but this essentially smooth. You can see it added all these curves and it smoothed everything out. I forgot that we changed that to linear. Let's see. There are some that I do want to keep linear though, like his. You'll see this will probably mess up our our walking. That's not too bad. Oh yeah, that's a lot smoother.
Yeah, there is like something like jerky about walking, right? When you like contact like the ground, it's a kind of a jerking, you know. So he's definitely like that's like a very smooth, like maybe a little far the other way, but it's definitely an improvement, you know.
Yeah, so
definitely a huge improvement.
What I would do is with this. So this is the bone that I was animated to make him look like he was moving up and down.
Yep, and you can kind of see it a little bit in there.
You can definitely see it. So if I come in here and what I want to do on these downward parts, I can actually not move them all around, but like here you can see I don't really need this keyframe because I can have that be like a smooth transition. But there's, I'm looking for the Z quadrant. This is what I want. So this is the up and down.
There he is, yeah.
So here's our walk. So up, or this is, I guess it's back. Oh no, it is right. So up, down, up, down. So what I can do here is, I mean, like, these ones that I don't need, I don't need. I can delete that. I can delete that. I can delete that. This is kind of unnecessary. Like I could delete these keyframes. And then with these, I can turn these into like I could turn these a different handle type. And this is kind of like how vector art works, but I can make this sharp.
Hey, cool.
So that's that hitting the ground.
Yep.
That like I don't need that. There we go. So this is
totally.
Whoops. Oh, shoot. You can lock. That's going to be mean. I can just hide all these ones that I don't need. There we go. So I can make that sharp, and then I want to do the same for this one. So I want a different handle type, free, and I can make this sharp.
Oh, that's so cool.
So,
oh man, I wish I could edit curves like this in Ableton. This is so much better. This is like really developed.
Yeah, and hopefully this will be updated soon because I think they were planning on doing a big animation overhaul with some of this stuff. So like this one I probably don't need. Whoops, although maybe I do. But see, now you can see that's a really clean curve. So now there we go.
Yeah, wow, dude.
Pretty cool. So I really didn't want to go over graph editor stuff, but it's really what makes it that gives you the fine control over these like your translations and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, that looks a lot better. I'm glad I checked it at least to see so that we could tell that we were in linear mode still. So yeah, got those steps, the slide in.
Dang, it's so cool. Like look again, like so it's like, you know, it was like so blocky and weird before, but it's just like the smoothing process.
Yeah, that changing that is what. So you know, doing the blocking out, I like using linear because it doesn't add any of those curves, and then going back and turning it on later so you can see the smooth transitions.
Yeah,
between stuff,
and that makes sense because like the linear, it's like very much like what you see is what you get kind of thing. Whereas like the curves, like interpreting your points.
Right.
And then like you gotta like Yeah, it's just like less. It's less predictable exactly what's going to happen between them.
Yeah. So like I didn't animate. You know, I could go in and animate every single one of these points on this line.
Right.
But, you know, every frame of this. But I don't need to if the computer does it. I just want to make sure that I hit those key poses that I want in order to tell the computer, you know, in order for it to actually help me and not just make it more confusing than it needs to be.
Right.
Like, I don't probably need this. See, like, let's see if I can actually clear this up. I just need to grab this and pull it out and then change this so it looks. So that's the, although I kind of do want a point here where he sits. See how he does kind of slide in, but I want him to sort of hit, like, sit down and hit the chair. So I know I want that to be somewhere in here, so I can animate it just right here. I don't have to actually change anything. So like maybe right there. Yeah. So that's where that kind of where that keyframe was before. Wait, come back. Let me select. I think if I grab it in here, I can actually add a keyframe. There we go. I think you can add a keyframe in this mode too. But so if I grab this and maybe keep it on that line, I don't want this to be as drastic, but he's gonna go to that point a lot faster now.
Like just feel like he hits it harder.
Right. So, because that's that emphasis. That wasn't as much as I wanted. Maybe
he needs to like go down and then come back up a little bit, like just
like kind of like a bounce a little bit,
just the tiniest bit. You know, you think about like here, like I don't know if you can see me, but like if when I sit down on this cushion, oh, I guess you can on my camera. If I'm sitting down on this cushion, you know, like there's like a little bit of a rebound because it's so squishy.
Okay.
Like, and that might give you the like feeling. You know, you were doing you were rolling you were making that cube flop on his face the other day. And and I was like, well, can you do it with physics? And you were like, well, you don't get the kind of rearing back thing then.
Right.
Which is like, totally. Which is like, you know, not how a real cube falls over, but it's how a cube falls over of its own accord, right?
Right.
Shifts its weight and then throws its weight in another direction.
Oh, the anticipation and the kind of they call. I think it's the term for it in animation is the anticipation. Like it comes back before it goes over itself. Yeah. So like I could probably add that in here. Like
I don't know if it's. I guess what I'm talking about is more like the opposite of that, though. It's like kind of like the ending of the motion. Like kind of like it doesn't just like when when you sit down, you don't just like freeze like in place. You know, it's like you sit down and you kind of like. I think there is often like it's not really helpful with this chair because this chair actually is hydraulic. But you know, like if this thing has like less of a like, I definitely like rebound off of it like a little bit.
Maybe let's see.
You know, my weight shifts down and then bounces off. I don't know. Carrying some weight that's gonna bounce around, I guess.
Oh, see, so this is the rotation actually. I wasn't even editing the location.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So that must not see. Here's our actual rotation. I wasn't actually doing much, but it did make it look better.
It really made it look a lot better. That's so interesting.
So I can go in here now and instead actually do the same. So this is what I want to be. This is our down. So those are the steps. So, whoops. You can see here if I grab this, he's going to move down. So let me do that here. I totally spaced out and was editing the wrong thing, but it sure looked like it was doing something.
Cool.
So, but let's turn this into more of those hard transitions. So it looks like, so there are steps, you can count them 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's the well, it's these are the steps, I guess. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because this is the in between when the foot hits the ground. those. 2, 2, 2, 2, and then sit. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, see, you can really see it now. If I go back to that, yeah, you can really see the feet hitting the ground. Maybe even a little bit too much, but
yeah,
you get the idea a lot more that he's like stepping.
Totally.
There's some weird something going on right there. Oh, I think it's where I messed with the. I want to see my keyframes here, and
I think I just had some pretty good success using Ableton's native multiband dynamics processor to cut some of those highs out of this zoom, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Like, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I've talked a little bit about this plugin on here, but this basically splits the frequencies into 3 bands and then allows you to compress or expand from above or below any of those bands. Super flexible and also really crummy user interface, which makes it super difficult to use. I hate it. But it's the native processor that does this stuff. So I just wanted to use it to do a simple task, which is knock down those highs. So I have it set to like anything that goes over minus 60 is going to get cut down by a ratio of 1 point. Let's set it to 2.
Whoops. I'm just gonna delete these.
So the idea here is that like high frequencies will stay present when they're not loud, but only when they get excessively loud will they get turned down.
Right.
This is a much more useful tool for certain situations than a static EQ, which just turns them down no matter what. In this kind of post-processing world, having these reactive kind of program-dependent tools they're more transparent and let you get these results that kind of just act on the portion of the sound you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna hear it in context real quick. Feels like maybe a little noisy compared to like the action I'm seeing.
Like
I've been waiting for
hours.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I cut it off.
Yeah.
the catchphrase.
I've been waiting for you for hours.
Hours.
There's a little bit of more of a
yeah, like that. Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
It's right here. Yeah. So I can line. Line this.
That's totally what I was talking about.
There we go. So now I can really. So like this is where you get into the real nitty gritty of doing animation is with these, especially when you're doing stuff by hand. It's all in this. It's all in the graph editor. Everybody's favorite. It's pretty intuitive if you hide what you don't need. I feel like that's the most confusing part is just like when you have all of these and you're like, what am I looking at?
Oh man, yeah.
You know?
I'll just like create the fact that they're stacked too. Like
yeah,
I kind of like it. And I kind of don't. You know, like Ableton, they'll all just be like one lane for each one. You just have this like giant stack of graphs.
Oh wow.
And they don't color code any of it. They're all red or whatever. So like, it's you know they end up labeled like those ones like the labeling's pretty clear. Like the lanes are labeled, so it's like obvious what's what. But it's still like this is so clear. I like this interface a lot. So interesting how much like the interface influences how usable the tool is.
Right.
You know, or like what you can do with it, or like what feels possible. Like, you know, even if it had the same feature, just like making the feature accessible enough that it's easy to implement, like sometimes makes all the difference.
Wait, I want to lock. Oh, that's kind of cool. I want to lock this and this, and so that I can actually move this. No, maybe that's what I want. Kind of comes in pretty hot there. Maybe these.
He's supposed to use kind of coming in hot.
Yeah.
This whole vibe.
Yeah. So this is stuff I can polish later. I do want to move this. There we go. That's what I wanted.
God, there's so many factors.
He still kind of like stops and doesn't. Sort of a weird like.
It's interesting because it's like I see it, but I'm like I can't tell what axis it's on or whatever, right?
Yeah, it takes a lot of. See how he kind of like boop. Then
his horizontal motion kind of like comes to a stop, and then he goes straight down, kind of.
Yeah, I think that's. I can look here. I can see this is my x-axis.
Oh yeah, totally.
Based on what I'm looking at.
Absolutely.
So if I turn this on, I can kind of see. Okay, probably it's this, and I want him. Maybe I don't want him to stop this abruptly on here. So maybe I'll turn this back into an aligned shape and sort of just give it a really small curve. So he kind of slows down, but not completely. Whoops. There we go.
Yeah, dude. Nice.
Cool. So this is more the polishing phase, I feel like. I probably should go through and block everything out first before I really get into doing graph stuff, because if you let yourself get into this, you're going to get sucked into it, making it look perfect. So...
sliding.
Yeah, he still slides quite a bit. So I might move. I'm probably going to move. I think it's his root bone here, maybe. Is it your root bone that's sliding still? Yeah, okay. Oh, it's because I want this to, I want to duplicate this.
Right, oh yeah, because you moved him.
Yeah, so he's going to sit right there, so that shouldn't move. Once he sits down.
He shifts his body a little bit.
Oh, whoops. I want to make sure I shifty and duplicate everything to that frame.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta make sure everything's selected. So A, and then select this top one. Shift and D crossed. That should line up. Oop. I want to replace those. There we go. So I should see this line means that it's. So something's still not. Oh, maybe. Should be lines all the way across. If I insert location rotation, Shift D, whoops, Shift D, everything should be. Huh. You shouldn't move here. Oh, that kind of scared me a little bit. The audio started playing. So yeah, all these look the same. Something is not quite. Not quite lining up. I might have. Oh, this might be off a little bit. So let's see. This frame, that frame. Okay. Select all. Shift D. Huh. He's still moving. I might copy and Shift D again here. Let's just move this back. I don't know where that is. Is it this?
Is it this? Is it this?
I know. This is a pretty good model, so it's hard to, or good rig, so should be pretty easy to tell. But the thing I'm looking for is that all of these should have this yellow bar that goes across. That means it's the same. So maybe I can copy these keyframes and paste them over here. And they should be the same. No, he's still moving. What could that be? Troubleshooting time. So
troubleshooting time.
I think maybe that I had. So I've got on my timeline here. I should be able to copy over this and just have that be everything the same. So you can see he's still slightly moving, and I'm not sure what that is. See, this is the thing. That's like somewhere in there he's still animated, and I wonder if it's not this. Okay, I've got camera action. I've got rig 1 and 2. Got the newspaper, depth of field. This is a little confusing, but so this NLA editor is essentially where you can stack animations.
Oh,
this
right,
is
yeah.
The cube. This is, I think.
So like if you had so like combining like a walk cycle with a root bone motion kind of thing.
Yeah.
As a basic example.
Some people use it, some people don't. I try to avoid using it if I can help it, because it just adds a whole extra layer of.
I love his knees. It's really getting funky. Funky walk.
So maybe let me try just going in here, going into pose mode, selecting everything, hitting I, doing available, then Shift D. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. I'm going to do that the same over here. There we go. Okay, now he shouldn't move. No, he still moves. I am honestly not sure. Because this should be essentially exactly the same.
I kind of like it's like kind of weird that he's like sliding around like that, but like he's like that's camera's not on him here, right? As long as, and it's like kind of chill if he's like sliding around, like like real people don't sit totally still,
right?
And so even if he is in frame a smidge, like I don't know, I don't think that's I guess we can see that it's not like an over the shoulder shot or anything like that, but like it might not be that weird if it was even.
Yeah, it's just. It is weird. Well, we get the idea. Mm-hmm. So we did pretty good on our first walk, sit down. They got a weird arm in the frame. Oh, wait a second. Is that what our problem is? No. It's not really. I want to change this pose a little bit. I want to make sure I'm on the right frame here. But you can hit these little buttons to go in between frames. But I might make him actually like sitting on the bench here more. Better. Put that arm up. Just kind of get this pose a little more. There we go. And then I want to make sure he's looking at him. There we go. Still some. Like, I guess I can come in and change this. So, whoop, not that much. So it kind of looks more like I pushed him back a little bit, so that's probably why it's sort of there you go.
I can't help but think about, we were talking, I guess, last week about like the mocap in the pipeline and stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And just like, like how long we've spent just trying to make this guy take 5 steps and sit down.
Right.
And like, like I was saying, like you can record a 30-second piece of music in about 30 seconds. If you put your mind to it, you could probably get all the motion data you needed. I mean, obviously you got to do things with it and interpret it and all that stuff, but like you probably just walk over and sit down.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it's revolutionized the whole animation pipeline. Is it took hours to make one action before, where now you could go for a recording session in a day and get a whole 3-hour. You probably could do a whole 2-hour movie in a few sessions.
Right, because it doesn't have. Yeah, you don't have to worry about the lighting. Nope. You don't have to worry about makeup or props.
Nope.
Or any of that stuff. It's just how people move.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely the future. I mean, it is already the future. It is it is the way.
Totally.
Oop, slide in.
I think it's funny that you chose that phrase, though, considering that show is made up of so much puppetry.
Well, what's that?
You sounded like you're making a Mandalorian reference. And I'm just thinking about how very famously the most notable non-human character is a multi-million-dollar puppet and not CG at all.
Well, there goes my camera again. Well, we're getting close to the end anyways.
Yeah, I suppose we are.
But we did. I mean, it might not seem like we did a whole lot, but we did a lot. We
did do a lot. So like I have pretty much I guess I can just like bounce what I have right now, so you have something to plop into your thing next time.
Okay.
So just remember, when you're exporting stuff, even like we're talking about exporting low-res versions of things for like audio people. If you're exporting video, exporting low-res video for the audio people because they don't need to see it in high-res. You can sort of do this with audio, but you I'll just tell you this now. If you learn one thing from this stream ever, it is this. Do not export MP3s until you're done. And maybe not even then. Because MP3s, I've said it before and I'll say it again, add silence to the beginning of them. The format adds a few milliseconds of silence. It is part of the format. It is inherent to it. All MP3s have them. So like an MP3 file will not line up properly by nature. You can't, there's nothing you can do about it. So always WAV files. Anytime your audio needs to go somewhere on a timeline and it's important that it lines up, WAV, WAV, WAV. And really it should just be WAV at all times until you are done with your project. And then you can make MP3s for people to listen to. You can always export MP3s for you to listen to too. I bounce my rough mixes as MP3s often. Just because I don't need to throw a giant WAV file onto my phone to just listen to the kind of relative quality of it. A high-res MP3 sounds fine, but it does not line up. End of rant.
Does not line up.
Does not line up. So I just can't tell you how many times I've battled this. You get a lot of people coming in want to rap on an MP3 beat. That's all fine and good, but if someone sends you a verse that's recorded and they for some reason knock that thing down to an MP3 because they don't know what they're doing, it also makes the engineer's job super difficult because they have to manually align things. I say the silence at the beginning is inherent to the format, but from what I can see, it doesn't appear to be consistent. I don't really understand why that is. Maybe it's because a lot of audio files start with silence, and so it's hard to see. You know, if I exported, it would be an interesting experiment to export a bunch of like a clipping square wave or something like that, and then render it as MP3 and just see and try and do that a few times to see if they were identical in their silence. It's something in the realm of like a few milliseconds, but it's just enough to throw it off. No bueno. So cool. So I have a wave asset that is ready for you whenever you are ready for it. Probably not tonight, I'm guessing, but we can maybe get you started synchronizing to some audio. Really, it's just the lip syncing, I think, and then maybe some fine tuning. Like,
yeah,
because the footsteps seem so baked into the pacing of the animation. Like, I might go back and redo those if they don't work, you know, or like nudge them around on the timeline until they work better. Just because just like that's pretty. You know, the lip syncing can come later or whatever, but like the walking shouldn't be the pace of the walking shouldn't be dictated by however fast the Foley happened to be recorded. You know, I don't want you animating to that.
Just one little thing I wanted to like see if I could.
Oh, like come back up and then back down a little.
Yeah, maybe kind of make it look like he's scooting in.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's cool. I think that's effective. Right away, like it's like, oh yeah, maybe he's just gonna vibrate along. Like he's got like a rubberized seat.
I mean, those are pretty. Some of the restaurants have those like spring, like full on.
That's a good point.
Spring booths.
You're not wrong. Yeah,
a little bit of a bounce there. So what is this though? I guess that's the arm. Maybe this is what the culprit was. Something in here.
Oh yeah, his arms in the shot.
Yeah.
Throw his elbow up in there.
Not sure. That was causing our little issue, but yeah, I think that's a pretty solid start.
Yeah, man, really cool.
It still, needs some polishing, but there was so I could probably like slow down grab this. So like when he sits, the moment he sits, add in, and then pull this back a little bit. So it kind of gets, I don't know. We'll work on it some more and polish it up. Maybe I'll do some at home and then come back, because I know a lot of this is
you get it.
Slowed. Yeah,
it's just doing it. Right?
Yeah, it's just doing it.
There's a reason I didn't come in and edit the audiobook on the stream.
Yeah.
You watched me paste room tone for 2 hours.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, of course, if anybody's interested in learning this stuff, that's what we're here for.
Sure.
And we can really get into the little tiny details of it. I'm still learning a lot. It's definitely a process. I don't think that, I feel like that's something even animator that has been doing this for 30 years would say. Because animation is only, I think the first animated film came out. The first feature length animated film was Toy Story, and that came out the year I was born. So 1995.
Wait,
was the first
3D animated.
Well, yeah, 3D animated, like 3D rendered,
Foley
like
3D, yeah.
Not like 2D animated film. Of course, that's been.
I was like, well,
yeah, 3D. Like CG computer graphic.
Yeah.
So this kind of animation is kind of what I'm getting at.
Sure.
With like, with 3D models with rigs animation kind of stuff. So I don't know hardly anything about 2D animation. That's a whole nother can of worms. I feel like is so much harder than 3D stuff.
You've got to hold a lot more stuff in your head, I think. You know, you don't have. I mean,
you don't have
you don't have a graph of like how this guy's arm moves to like reference. You know, you just have frame by frame, and like you have to plan that all out. I just can't even imagine like trying to make music one frame at a time, or like what you know, like one beat at a time. Like okay, everyone, or something. There's no real analog for that, but it's so tedious.
Right.
And it's just so wild. It really, I don't know. I feel like if anyone doesn't appreciate the art of 2D animation, just go try and create a 3-second animation yourself. Pen and paper, and just try it try and give 1 second of animation actually. Try and get 1 second of animation. 12 frames and make it do something that actually looks good.
Yeah. Oh, Robot mentioned the. Is it Luxo? Is that how you pronounce the light from Pixar's like little light?
That I don't know.
I think Luxo is how you pronounce it. Luxo Junior. The little lamp was like one of the. Yeah, it was an animated short film.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Toy Story was the first like feature length. Animated.
Absolutely.
So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I remember when that came out.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it's a whole new world.
Yeah. So really, you couldn't meet many 3D animators that have been in the industry for more than 30 years.
Right.
So that hasn't been around that long.
Totally. Yep.
Cool. Alrighty, guys. Well, I guess we will return next week for.
I don't think we will next week.
Oh, right. I forgot. It's Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. So, yeah, we're going to probably take the week off for that. Being a holiday and all. Yeah, and we'll reappear in 2 weeks to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll be in December. Till the 2nd of December, we'll be back.
Yep. Well, I can't imagine we're going to spend too many more streams on this thing. Like, couple, 3 more maybe?
Yeah, we're getting wrapped up. I think we might end up like doing. I want to do at least the lip syncing stuff.
Yes.
On stream.
I'm curious to see that.
But then, other than that, I think I might wrap it up and get something just to watch, and then we'll move on to our next thing.
Sweet.
So whatever that might be.
Yeah, I got a music thing I want to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. Alrighty, guys. Well, I guess we'll catch you in 2 weeks then.
Cool.
Alrighty.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yep.
See you
Till next time.
Bye-bye.